Welcome to the Rambling, Ranting, and Writings podcast, in which I chronicle my personal journey through various life events, most notably pharmacy school, residency, my career, and various upcoming milestones in my life. This content originally started as a personal blog of mine on Tumblr, and since I'm interested in dabbling in podcasts in the future, and I guess technically I am now, I figured I'd share some of my personal thoughts with all of you in hopes that it'll help to inspire or motivate some of you in your own personal journeys. Today's episode is titled Just Some Thoughts So Far. It was originally posted on November 20th, 2011, and I was currently in my third year in pharmacy school. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Writing is one of my outlets, and I apologize in advance if this offends anyone. I rather speak my mind than put up a front. It is amazing how fast time has passed, and I am now more than halfway through pharmacy school. With the onset of rotations in 3 to 4 months, I've done a lot of reflecting on what my future holds in store for me. Unfortunately, as uncertain as I was when I first entered pharmacy school, I am still in the same position, maybe even more confused. It seems as though the more I learn about pharmacy, the more options I realize that I have. Currently, though, I am pretty set on specializing heavily in clinical pharmacy with a concentration on infectious diseases / HIV and possibly emergency / trauma. Something else I wanted to get off my chest is the view on our pharmacy profession. I was such a huge advocate for pharmacy up until a few months ago. Don't get me wrong though, because I live and breathe pharmacy and I love the profession. I was a huge advocate before because I didn't understand why we would be looked down upon by other healthcare professionals. Although that is a biased view because I haven't really been out there and worked alongside other healthcare professionals long enough to make that call. It was more based on experiences by peers. What I am more concerned about is the view the community has on the pharmacy profession. I am in no way whatsoever bashing on community practice, but I think drive-through should not exist in a pharmacy practice. I think community pharmacists are an amazing asset to the nation with their knowledge and ease of accessibility. I just don't think the community realizes that as of yet and probably won't for a while. I am just as guilty as anyone else before pharmacy school thinking that pharmacists just count pills. The ease of accessibility comes with the price, in my opinion. The notion that all pharmacists do is count pills and man the drive-thru. They don't realize that the pharmacist is the one checking up on drug interactions, counseling patients, and solving drug-related problems inside the pharmacy. With some good-minded cushion to set the tone, here are some negative views I wanted to let out also. Actually, it can be summarized into one sentence. I think the standards of pharmacy school has drastically fallen, and that leads to the declining quality of our students. Why do I think that? Well, for one, opening up more pharmacy schools in addition to adding distance campuses opens up the door for students who are less qualified. I almost find myself to be a hypocrite when I say this because I was one of those students that I would consider, quote, not qualified. I'm almost torn over this because I use myself as an example of why the above statement can be declined. I am currently in Rho Chi Honor Society, marking the top 20% of my class. If you think I'm being arrogant for saying this, then you obviously don't know me. This is the first time I publicly announced or made mention I was inducted versus not trying to get inducted. I am not considering myself one of the smarter people in my class. I am just saying that my current view of judging the, quote, quality of future students based on GPA can be somewhat negated. In undergrad, all I did was play games, skip school, bum around, rinse and repeat. Anyways, two other examples I would like to mention is Dr. Epstein and Dr. Lopez. Both of them were on the lower end of their class, and look at them now. Regardless of these three examples, you can't help but consider how the quality of the students will be influenced by the rising number of pharmacy schools / distance campuses. Something I get criticized a lot for is studying too much, which I somewhat agree. Life is short, enjoy the most of it. Now, consider this. If your closest family member gets sick, would you want the person that studied a lot and actually gave a shit about learning, or the person who barely passed because he or she was more concerned about other issues? I'm not bashing on the people who don't give it their all. I just find it funny that people would trash someone for wanting to increase their capacity for helping others. Lastly, I wanted to reflect upon some general ideas. Whether it was listening to Dr. Lopez's last speech, chatting with Ryan Holmeschild, or just hearing about the unfortunate events around the world, I have set my long-term goal in life. I promise myself that I will leave a positive impact in this world and will be a name to remember. And I am willing to sacrifice my time to learn, practice, and influence others around me. I talk big and I dream big. The sky is the limit. How much times have changed? 3 years ago, someone asked me a simple question: are you a leader or a follower? With no hesitation, I replied, a follower. Although, even to this day, I would agree it's about time I start leading as opposed to being led and spoon-fed all my life. Sometimes it takes a little push, and these videos I have listed below were among those that influenced me. That's it for this week's episode of the Rambling, Rantings, and Writings podcast. Thank you all for tuning in and listening. If you've enjoyed this content, please do let me know. I'm always interested in feedback from my audience on ways to improve, and it's certainly nice to hear from you all in general, be it good or bad. Again, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all on the next episode.